Good morning and welcome back to Spurs Latest. I am your host, Trip Graham. So much to get into today. We're going to have a little riff off about what's going on about the Olympics world. It's covering up all of the social media world right now. Everyone's talking about the Olympics. Why not me too? Hey, so happy to have you here. We're over in the third week of Spurs Latest, and we have just been growing every single day. So happy to have you all here today and to continuing build the audience. Thank you for everyone that has subscribed so far. Looking to build up those subscribers, looking to build up some possibly partnerships, some potentially, we'll make some bets going forward. We got a lot planned for you at Spurs Latest. If you're a brand, want to reach out to me, happy to work with you. If you're, anyone, really happy to work with anyone. So this has been a really exciting time to get the channel going, and so happy to have you here while the stock is low. All right, let's get into it. So first thing we have was that the San Antonio Spurs beat the Lakers last night, 136-108. Huge night for Wemby. Most points in a single quarter this season at 25 points in the first quarter and 37 at halftime. They definitely were able to take the foot off the gas after the half. He really got them that victory. Wemby just went 4 for 6 from threes, absolutely dominated the paint. No one could touch him. Absolute domination game. Really, really the MVP performance that we look for him on night out basis. Some other big news from this game was that LeBron did sit out of this game, and that ends his All-NBA run of over 20 seasons of making the All-NBA team. He is not eligible under the current rules of the NBA of having to play 65 games. I believe that 65 games is a little strict, but these are the reasons why it's in place. So, LeBron, who will not, will play about 55 games this season. I do not think that is enough to qualify you for an All-NBA team when some of these guys like Jaylen Brown are out there grinding all season. Don't believe you should be able to take a spot from those guys. Yeah, I mean, it's a tough road for LeBron at this point. I mean, he's going to have to make some decisions really soon. Things like this remind me that we are at the end of LeBron, and we can have to soak up all these moments we have with him left. Him not making NBA All-Star team starters, him not making All NBA. These are firsts for him. It is definitely winding down his career, and he knows it. Still averages over 20 points a game. Still really contributes. But players that sit out back-to-back nights who are starters, it's not conducive to a winning atmosphere in the NBA. That is tough, and especially with Luka Doncic's injury right now, and that's going to sideline him for a little bit. Hopefully, he's back after All-Star game break, but we will see. It's going to be tough for the Lakers to rebound from this, and honestly, I really thought about the Lakers. They're desperate to turn the new leaf with LeBron, obviously. It's been great. They won the championship with LeBron and Anthony Davis. Once Anthony Davis left, they went into the mode of, okay, this is Luka's team. And now LeBron is kind of on his way out, one door in, 1 foot in, 1 foot out. He's talking about golf podcast 24/7. I've never seen a more checked out man that is just a pure Cooper than LeBron. So I definitely see the transitioning coming. If it's not going to be after this season, it's going to be the season after next. I think this is the last Lakers season, at least with LeBron. I do see one more reunion season possibly happening with the Cavs, especially now that they have James Harden. I could see it as an opportunity for LeBron trying to get one more ring, but coming off like maybe even a bench role for him going into his last season if he comes back next year. But we will see. I mean, I just think it would probably makes more sense for him at this stage of his career, being in his mid-40s now. So we will see how this plays out. I just really think the Lakers are desperate to turn that new leaf and give the reins fully to Luka So what do you guys think? Should the Lakers move on from LeBron after this season no matter what, if he retires? Or do you think that this is a team that they can retool around between Luka and LeBron and try to, make one more run next season? What do you guys think? All right. So other things that I've been seeing online that I wanted to weigh in on, obviously this is a Spurs basketball podcast, but we can talk about everything. So what are your thoughts? I have a few thoughts. What are your thoughts about sitting versus standing at events? Because I think it's all about the event. That's really my thought process. So first, there's a huge debate online right now about how Seahawk fans at the Super Bowl were just standing the entire game. And for me, I don't have a problem for this. There's problems that I have on individual bases, but I don't have a problem if you're standing at an event. I mean, you pay so much money for these tickets. You're amped up for these games. You deserve to do what you want in your seat as you'd like. The Seahawk fans, it's very famous that they pride themselves on standing the entire game. Let them. Why not? The biggest thing is, kids not being able to see. All right, get that counterpoint. But, like in the last couple of years, I just remember two particular events that this has happened at me. About like, do I like standing versus not standing? So I'll give you an example of each. I was at John Cena's last match. And the building was rocking, absolutely going insane at every single moment, and everyone was standing. It was, I would say, 95% standing in the crowd, and I will never forget this couple behind me asking me to sit. Now, I did sit the entire rest of the night. I did not stand and watch any matches, but my heart rate was going so fast. I was having so much fun. Everyone, the energy around me was awesome. Everyone was standing. And they're tapping me on the shoulder saying, "Will you sit?" And I did the courteous, like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm not meaning to sit. Have you missed it?" But then I was like, this is John Cena's last match. We should absolutely be able to stand. And I said to him, "Hey, I'm sorry, but I'm going to stand. This is a one-in-a-lifetime opportunity. You want to stay with me? I'm happy. Let's build up the atmosphere." So that was one atmosphere where I was like, okay, this is a standing crowd. Not just me. This is a standing crowd. I can't be the, part of the 5%. Even if they don't want me to, I can't be part of the 5%. But then there was another opportunity. I went to the Notre Dame football game, and I'm a Notre Dame fan. And this fan in front of me was with his girlfriend, clearly college students, sitting in a non-college student section for Notre Dame, which was very weird. He was rooting for the opposite team. He was standing in the Notre Dame section. Now, all for against standing, but how you stand. All right, here, now let's get to some little semantics. If you're standing on the bleachers and screaming the entire time, but you're standing on top of your seat, you're a jerk. I mean, you're absolutely a jerk. Not sure. If you stand on the ground, you give the person the opportunity behind you to stand up. Fine. We create a row of everyone standing up behind you. Sure, whatever. Standing on your seat when you are a 6'1" man using a cowbell, I wish nothing the worse upon you. Absolutely. I mean, to be standing on your seat, he wanted to be heckled. He was looking for it, and that was the other thing. Like, I mean, a normal person doesn't stand. A 6'1" man doesn't usually stand on his seat during a football game. Sure, stand up all game. Go ahead. But you're a 6'1" man. Your girlfriend's maybe 5'3". She's not even standing on the seat because she's embarrassed that everyone's yelling at him. But, he wanted the attention. He was looking for it. He was looking for a fight. So, really grinding my gears that game. All right. But, yeah, just embrace debate. All right. Let's move on. That's just my Old man yells at cloud moment. But let's talk about, I've been watching a lot of Olympics. This has been a great time to watch Winter Olympics. I will say I'm not as much as a fan of the Winter Olympics as I am of the Summer Olympics. But, it is fun. There's a lot of good fun. I love watching the hockey in it. Um, just some crazy events. I mean, we have skiing mixed with shooting, mixing with uphill running. I mean, the guy ran a 6 minute uphill mile yesterday. Like, what are we doing? How do you even train for that? How do you even learn that you can do that? But that kind of gets me into my other point. And I know everyone's talking about it, so it's not a new common thought, but it's the luge. Um, I have thoughts about the luge. I will say I do not think that doing the luge is impressive. I think everything else that goes into a luge is extremely impressive. Building those sets, that absolutely insane of how they built these, these absolute towers of ice, I guess what you would call them. But also that the fact that they know exactly where they're gonna go on the ice. I think that their um, toboggans, their sleds are crazy. But I was just having this thought. I'm like, okay, I get it. Like, it's impressive. Like, sure, impressive. I don't think it's Olympic impressive. Of when I watch Usain Bolt run, I'm like, no one else in the world can run like that. Like you were born to run. You are a different human. Like you are genetically evolved. It's like Alex Holland, the guy that's the free solo guy. Like you are genetically evolved to do that. You're like to have no fear, like of climbing like that, and mixing that with you were working out and athletics that go into having to climb that. Or Usain Bolt, literally, I do not think anyone else in the world can run like that. And when he runs, breaks these records, I'm like, okay, only Usain Bolt can do that. With the luge, I think every one of these guys that learned how to do the luge must have had, one of their parents do the luge. I don't think they're the best in the world at it because inaccessibility. You know what I mean? Like by having just being accessible to do the luge, you're gonna be able to get into the Olympics. I mean, it's such a niche sport. Of like, if I start learning at 4 years old about the luge because my parents ran the luge, I get to go into the Olympics. Just because my parents are runners and they teach me running starting at 4 years old, I'm not going to Olympics. I'm gonna be a good runner, and maybe have good form, but I'm not going to Olympics. That's what I really think about the luge. It is impressive everything that goes into it. The performance is not, because I just think it's manufactured. I think honestly, just the building of the mountain and building of the sled is way more impressive than the actual competitors. Um, the fact that I guess I'm more inclined to say I think that they have no fear, and that's even more impressive than the athletic feat. Obviously, there's not a lot of athleticism in the luge, or even curling, or obviously it's like the skiers, but then they're shooting, and I'm like, how is shooting an Olympic sport? But then it goes back to like, how is breakdancing an Olympic sport? I don't know. But it's just my thought. It was like luge is, and then they have luge that is you're sitting on your back, and then you have luge that's sitting on your front, and I'm like, what's the difference? But yeah, just my thoughts about the luge Olympic sports. Really looking forward to men's hockey, women's hockey too. Those are really cool to watch. Just absolutely impressed by the guy that did a 6 minute mile running uphill. That was just absolutely insane. All right. Well, back to basketball. Let's get back to basketball. And then obviously the best Olympic sport of anything is basketball. That's my favorite every 4 years, like by a mile. And I do see one of the biggest things. My prediction is that France is going to win their first gold medal in a long time because of Wemby in a few years. So just make that prediction here first. The French are going to win the next Olympics with Wemby as the French MVP for the team. There it is. So let's get that recording out there. Go viral. Go viral. Go viral. All right, other things going on. And tonight, let's get into it. Tonight is the last game before the All-Star break where the Spurs take on the Golden State Warriors. And again, we are pretty much going to have a snooze fest if the Warriors just decide to rest all their players, which they look like they're going to be doing. They got no Jimmy Butler, obviously, out for the year. Steph Curry, injured. Buddy Hield, see ya. Kristaps Porzingis, I have to check on the status of him. He is always a game time decision at this point of his career of with his illness off the court. So we will see even if he plays. So interested about that one. Other things from this game. Let's just end it strong going into All-Star break. You know, this has been a great first half of the season, best first half of the season in at least, 8 years since we made the Western Conference Finals with one of those last renditions of those super teams. So let's see if we can end this year strong. This half the season strong. Fucking awesome to see Wemby, getting 25 points in a quarter and 40 points in the first, in his last game. I could predict that, they're not going to force it Wemby if they're up on this game. Let's just keep, the momentum going. No injuries going into the All-Star break. Let's have Wemby win that All-Star game MVP. All right, well, that's everything that I have from Spurs Latest today. So happy to have you here today. Hey, Olympics, anybody that works for the Olympics, shout out. I did get a note from the Spurs. So the Spurs actually did reach out to me, and we're going to talk a little about that later this week. But the Spurs actually did reach out to me, which was really cool. They sent me a little care package. Maybe we'll go through that care package. So shout out the San Antonio Spurs for that care package. And we'll talk more about that. But yeah, I'm so happy to work with any brands, anytime, anywhere. You can find me on Twitter. So happy to have you here on Spurs Latest. We're going to be building up this channel, going. So we'll see you in the next one tomorrow, and we'll talk about Golden State Warriors versus Spurs. Thank you so much for having coming to join me today. Go Spurs, go.